Hey, 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 and welcome back to another episode of the Hello Sis Dorsey podcast. Today, in this episode, I am going to tell you what you need to do before you leave. So, don't leave your 9 to 5 hanging, even though you want to say shove it. And I debated on if I even want to put that in the title, but I said, you know what, we all feeling it. We've all been there. We all want to say it. And I definitely want to say it so many times, but you have to be professional. You can't say those things, okay? But this is my podcast and I'm actually going to say it this time. So I'm really excited about this episode. And I want to give you some tips. This is for if you're in a leadership role or if you're not in a leadership role, the things that you need to do before you leave. So, the first thing, if you are in a leadership position or a role, you want to make sure before you exit that all of the SOP, so the standard operating procedures or the what they call the process and procedures, are current and updated. This is one of the tasks I definitely want to do before I leave. Make sure all the processes, the procedures, everything was updated before I left. Also, if you have team members up under you, you want to make sure that all PTO, paid time off requests or vacation requests are approved, or any outstanding sick that needs to be approved as well. Then you want to delegate who will do what until there is a replacement. So what I did was I delegated a few tasks that I normally do to a few team members that I knew was more at the kind of the senior level, and I gave those tasks to them, and I did training on with them and everything to show them how to do it until the new replacement come. So you want to delegate who will do what. Now, I know you're probably like, Candace, like seriously, all of this, but when you worked in corporate for 18 years, and if you was in a leadership position for more than 18 years, then I would say this is definitely necessary because you were there so long. So a lot of things you used to do or they used to you doing will no longer, exist because you're not there. And you're probably like, well, they can figure it out. But my mom always said, don't mess up where you live because you may have to go back. God forbid that I have to go back, but she always said don't mess up where you live because you may have to go back there one day. So, well, go back there again, or if you needed to. So I'm like, I want to give a good report, even though it wasn't a good report working with them, but I want to give a good report. After I left and everything. So yeah. Also, wrap up any loose ends like meetings, projects, evaluations, things you want to clear up. If you need to have those one on ones with your team members, last one on ones, talk about their goals, talk about what they're doing so far and everything. And there's sit with them, have a conversation, ask them how they're feeling about the transition, ask them, those type of things, because my team was my family. And, those up under me, even though those over me, I didn't feel a great connection with, which is one of the reasons why I left. But my team was my family and they were like my kids. So I wanted to make sure that they were okay, make sure that they have what they needed before I left, given that, they probably be like, whatever, when I give them those things, which is fine. But I want to make sure that they had everything that they needed before I left. I didn't want to leave them hanging at all. Okay. If you are not in a leadership role, these are a few things that you may want to consider doing before you leave. So, number one, make sure all projects are completed. If you have any projects that you need to wrap up or that you was assigned to, be sure to finish those up before you leave. Also, if there was a project assigned to you but you haven't gotten started, I would say delegate that to someone else. Number three, customers or clients are rerouted to the appropriate person who will take over after you leave. So this is only if you like working for the public or if you are in a public setting environment. You want to make sure that your customers that you have are routed to the appropriate person, and let them know. Like if you're working with long-time customers, let them know, hey, you're now going to be working with blah, 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 because I won't no longer be working with the company in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks or whatnot. And number 3, tie up any loose ends if needed. So if there's anything like little nagging things that you need to tie, I would say definitely clear those up before you leave. And like I say, you don't want to leave them hanging, even though you want to say shove it. But we want to be a little professional about this. So yeah. So if you are in a leadership position, make sure all SOPs are current and update. All PTO or pay time off requests are approved. Delegate who will do what until there's a replacement. Wrap up any loose ends like meetings, project evaluations, goal setting, those type of things. And if you are not in a leadership role, make sure all projects are completed, customers are rerouted to the appropriate person, and tie up any loose ends if needed. All right, so that's it for this episode today. I had a blast talking with you, so we're going to move on and continue on. I'm really happy about talking about this subject because I feel like this is something that is needed, and a lot of people don't talk about what is needed before you leave. So many people talk about side hustles, so many people talk about creating your own business, but the thing of it is, it's like, okay, what's going to happen to my medical? What's going to happen to my 401k? What's going to happen to my dental, my vision? What's going to happen to my savings account? What if my business, it hasn't taken off like I thought it would be? So those are the things that I like to talk about and I actually work through before I left. So hope this was helpful. Until the next episode, I will see you then. Bye.